Right then, welcome to a very soggy and wet Krakow. So, a little bit of a different video. I've made a list of the top 15 or so questions that have been asked about my lifestyle, and I'm going to be deadly honest with you. So, number one, why did you start living in a caravan? Well, I got made homeless and I lived in a Citroen Relay for about 8 months. But I spent 6 months of that time travelling Southeast Asia. And then when it came up to MOT time, it was really struggling. And then shortly after, it died. So I had to move into a caravan. So that's it. Second one, so was moving into a caravan actually planned? Well, no, not really. But when you're homeless, you just have to make do with what you can. And to be quite honest, it's been okay. What do your family and friends think about your lifestyle? Well, my friends are pretty much on board with it. The family, not so much. But again, I don't see them ponying up a load of money to help out. So their opinions are not really important. How much does it generally cost me to live in a caravan? Well, I've been through this before in a video, and my actual living costs, my rent, my gas, my electric, and all that, my accommodation costs run me about £550 to £600 a month, all in. Quite a considerable saving from the £1,600 I was paying before. What is the worst part of living in a caravan that nobody sees? Honestly, the management of space, because I had a 3-bedroomed house, and even though I had storage for a while, I had to get out of the storage because that was costing me £130 a month. And then condensing an entire house into a 14-foot by 8-foot space, well, I've thrown things out that I regret, gotta be honest. But overall, again, not so bad. What is your favourite place that you've travelled? Right, so the favourite place that I've travelled so far, without a doubt, Southeast Asia. And last year I went to Thailand, and I met a girl in Thailand, and we had a loving and long-meaning relationship, should we say. Sadly, that's come to an end recently, but I got to see things in Thailand, rural Thailand, that most tourists never see. I got to go looking for frogs at 2 a.m, barefooted. It was insane. But why do you feel so drawn to Southeast Asia? Honestly, the weather, the climate, the people, and honestly, the food. I mean, I've put things in my mouth, and I can be deadly serious with you, that are really questionable. I mean, in the Western world, nobody openly put bugs in your mouth, but when you're handed a plate of these mealworms that have been roasted, it just tastes like jerky. And do you know what? It's actually quite tasty, and I've put things in my mouth that I would never ever dream of. If I typed it down in a message, I'd go, no mate, not for me. But when you're in Rome, you eat pizza. When you're here in Krakow, you eat zakopane and pierogi. When you're in England, you eat a doner kebab, just like the Germans. Now, honestly, some of the food is bizarre. but really, really tasty. And no, I've never eaten a dog or a rat or a cat, so don't worry about that. But yeah, the food's on another level. Even Thailand, like son tom, papaya salad, and pad. The thing is with Thailand, everybody goes, oh, you've got to eat the pad thai. Well, no, the pad krapao is by far more elite. And then in Vietnam, well, Vietnamese food is just beautiful anyway. Right. What is the biggest culture shock you've had travelling? What is the biggest culture shock travelling? Well, Southeast Asia again. Sorry. Toilet tissue. It doesn't exist. And the reason why it doesn't exist is because you have this little gun, right? It's a little high-pressured water hose, which I found hilariously funny the first time that I arrived in Thailand because, well, I'd been for a number 2. Been for a shit. And I started to panic because I was a little bit loose. And I'd done the splatter gun. Now, I know, you're going to have to follow me with this. But this bum gun, well, that was music to my ears because, you know what, I give my ass a bit of a jet wash and that's all clean. So by the time I'd stood up, turned round and the pan, and that was all clean. The toilet was winning, I was winning, absolutely perfect. And here in Europe, we're still using paper. So yeah, that was the biggest culture shock, but a solid win for Southeast Asia. Have you ever thought, what the hell am I doing during all this? Absolutely. I think, what the hell am I doing every single day? But then I think about the alternatives, and the alternatives, to be fair, scare me. Where am I going to find £2,000 a month now to live in a flat? I don't even earn £2,000 a month. How does that work as a single guy or woman in your 40s? How does that work as a single person? How It's just impossible. So do I think? Yeah, I do, but I think I found a solution that works for me. Next one. What is the scariest moment you've had travelling alone? Well, honestly, in Germany last week when I was, there were 2 guys that tried to pickpocket me. That was a bit scary. And then in Southeast Asia, probably Siem Reap in Cambodia, where a ladyboy tried to corner me. I mean, you'd never tell she was a ladyboy looking at her from a distance, but when you got close and she's got bigger hands than me, well, yeah. Next one. How do you actually afford all this while working? Well, the reason why I actually am able to afford all this is because I work full time. And the whole reason that I gave up the house was to reduce my living expenses in the UK, if you like, and I'm about £600 to £700 a month better off. So if you work that out over a year, even at £500 a month, that is £6,000. Now, if you're sat there thinking, well, £6,000 isn't a lot of money, well, yeah and no. £6,000 a month for your travelling budget is 1 fortnight holiday in Benidorm for a family of 4. I'm on my own. And the worst thing I could do is go on an all-inclusive. I mean, I have, to be fair, I have priced them up as a single person. And I can go to places like Turkey or Tunisia. And I can do all-inclusive for 2 weeks for 500 quid. And I'm not going to lie, it's quite tempting. You know, work for 8 weeks and bugger off for 2 weeks and have 2 weeks sat in the sun, but I get bored. I mean, I've been walking around Germany and Poland in the pissing down rain, and yeah, it's not always great, but I enjoy it. I prefer that than an all-inclusive holiday, if I'm honest. But if you're thinking of doing this and 2 weeks all-inclusive every 8 weeks sounds like something you could get on board with, then knock yourself out, honestly. You go for it. But for me, it's a hard no. I just like experiencing things. And like I say, I'm in Krakow now, and it's rained every day since I got here, but it is still my favourite European city, and that's that. This is my European happy place. Right, so next one. Do you think that YouTube can be realistically full-time now that you are monetized? Well, no. I say that caveatly. No, I don't think I can be living full-time on YouTube. And the simple reason is because I've been monetized for a month now, and I've got my what they call CTR, which is basically what money I get per 1,000 views, and it'll buy you a bacon sandwich per 1,000 views. So on that basis, I probably need nearly 1 million views a month. I'm a long way from that. But does it help? Well, yeah, it does, I suppose. But do I see myself living off YouTube full time any time soon? No, sadly not. I mean, it'd be great if it would, but I can't see it. What's the hardest part about starting a YouTube channel at 45? Confidence. Because how I see it as is you can't get watch time hours or views or likes or subscribers on videos that you never released. So to me, you've just got to keep going, and I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the fame. I don't even want to be famous. I mean, there's these people that post on TikTok and Instagram and get their gratification from 20,000 likes. Well, I've had 1.2 million people like me on Facebook. I ain't fuck all. I've had a video that's close to 100,000 views on YouTube. Still ain't me next to nothing. I'm not doing this for the fame. I don't care about the fame. I'm just doing this basically just to document where I'm up to and what I'm doing. I don't care about the fame, and to be quite honest, the money would be nice, I'm not going to lie, but I can't see it coming anytime soon. But you just got to keep going. Where do you honestly see yourself living in 5 years? Southeast Asia. That's it. How the visa things are working at the moment, that's more than likely going to be Cambodia or Vietnam or possibly the Philippines. Thailand is just a complete Well, for me at the minute, obviously, because of the breakup, but beyond that is the Thailand government are making it so difficult at the minute. But 5 years is a long time. In 5 years' time, Thailand might, well, it will change its approach, and then suddenly Thailand is where I'll be looking at. But no. Region-wise, Southeast Asia, 100%. The weather, the food, oh, so much better than here. And what is the end goal with the channel? Well, I don't think there is an end goal, really. This is a channel that's documentary, it's documenting somebody like myself at my age, 42, trying to get out of the rat race and change my own fortunes without relying on the government and stepping away from the rules. There is nothing, if I'm honest, there is nothing holding me back and dragging me back to the 9 to 5 in the UK. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's all I've got for you. If you've got any other questions that you want to ask, then just drop them in the comments. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.